Well, it's part two on the Sno Jet, and the new track is here. So you're probably saying, Nutter, you're crazy. Why'd you spend all that money on a brand new track for this sled? Well, I had my reasons, and I guess I'll share a couple of them with you. First off, I know they made skidoo lawns until really late, and this is, by the way, in a lawn track. I know they made them pretty late, well into the 90s, maybe later. You can leave a comment if you know when they quit making them. And the odds of finding one of those tracks quickly, easily at a swap meet right now, well, there's no swap meets, it's springtime. And the odds are pretty low. Any track I'd find is probably 50 years old and probably as bad as the one I'm taking out or close to it. So that's one reason to go with new. Reliability. I mean, we are going to try to run this in the Wild Bill 20, and the last thing I want to worry about is the track, the drivers, the bearings, any of that stuff I can control. I don't want to worry about it. All right, the second reason is the lug height on this track is 0.530. Now, what were those original lawn tracks? Like a quarter inch, maybe 3/8. So this is over a half an inch, and it's got a really good tread pattern on it. I'll show you that. I have used this track before twice, once on each of my one lung skedaddlers. I'm super happy with it. It's a great track. So the other reason is it's super easy to find skidoo drive wheels. So that should help me when I got to convert this over from the Sno Jet wheels to the skidoo wheels. Maybe I could use the Sno Jet wheels. And I know Rick Weaver makes Sno Jet drivers or relines them or whatever. I know you can get them. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just saying the skidoo stuff is real easy. So there's my reasons. The track's here. Let's get after it. All right, I got you down on a low camera angle. So bogey wheel sled, a little different than normal slides, but the first thing we're going to do is drop out all the bogeys. All right, we'll spend some more time on these later, but I like it that they have grease zerks on them. Gonna have to sweep up the shop. Okay, once you got your bogeys out, we're gonna drop off the back axle. All right, notice I haven't even touched the track tensioner yet. We'll worry about that when we're putting it back together. But for now, to just peel this thing out of here. Just like that, and same thing on the other side. The next trick is getting the axle out. So you can see it's pretty well trapped by the spring. And really, the best way to do it is to pull this off with the bearing, and then that back axle will come right out. So I'm going to attempt that right now. So most of the time there's a seal, which there is. So the first thing you want to do is work that seal off, which is what I'm doing right now. And this is similar. Skedaddlers, skidoos, most bogey wheel sleds, you're going to find that rubber seal in there. So with that off, I don't think there's a snap ring or anything in there. I think it's just a matter of prying and tapping until that comes off. All right, so before I get too crazy prying on it, I am electing to take this grease zerk out, just in case the zerk is somehow trapping the bearing in there. I doubt it is. I would think it feeds into the empty space between the bearing and the seal. All right, zerk is off. There are no set screws, and that thing feels tight. Continue the struggle. Boy, I would love to use a puller on this, but there's no hole through the middle there. And I'm sure that this spring is on kind of a protrusion welded to that plate. All right, that was a good call. The spring protrusion is relatively small. A little bit of rust, tap on the bolt, but what do you think? I think I'll cheat that right around the track and we'll get that back axle out. Oh, there we go. Right out. All right, well, that was definitely one of the easier bogey wheel back axles to get out that I've ever dealt with. If you've ever worked on a Scorpion Pararail, like the Bullwhip has, they're a lot worse. So, anyways, not bad there. Guess we'll keep going. I almost forgot. We got to give it the obligatory driver test. Boy, those don't feel real bad at all. Those are actually kind of bouncy. Well, I guess we'll get the chain case cover off next. Single row chain. I was not expecting to find a single row chain in there. Interesting. With the cover off, let's have a look at this chain case. So this is obviously a chain tensioning mechanism of some sort. It actually looks like if I loosen the jam nut and loosen this, it might let that whole shaft slide down. A little unusual. I'm used to it being more of an eccentric setup. Maybe there is an eccentric buried in there. We'll start taking things loose and jiggle it and figure it out. Obviously, if we take off this nut, we can get the top gear off. Now, the bottom gear isn't so obvious. Or is it? I do see a keyway in there, and look at that. Well, there we go. Set screw and a keyway, and we can have that bottom gear off. So I think I'll get those brakes off of there. I'll take this brace loose, and we'll just tear down this chain case. It looks like just a couple bolts and that caliper should come right off. You know, I've got it this far apart. Why don't I just take this all the way off? Well, there we go. All right, there's the brakes. I ordered new pads for this already, and I think I'm happy that I did that. Probably didn't need to back that nut off because from all appearances, this needs to go counterclockwise anyways. Okay, let's knock this brace loose. Couple nuts back here. Something tells me these need to slide, loosen to let the adjuster slide. I don't know, either way, they're getting cracked. It's definitely two separate plates. Oh, there's one more nut. That's probably why. There's definitely two separate plates that slide back past each other in order to tension the chain. There we go. So nut and a nut and a nut. All right, we'll knock this off. We might tension that back up again before I knock it off, just so we don't start skipping teeth. There we go. Well, that tensioner's pretty cool. Look at how good that works. Still have the leaky air fitting. Sorry about that. Parts are ordered for that air fitting. Not to mention, by the time you see the video, it will probably not leak for weeks on end. I was expecting that to just slide off with the nut off. There's a little movement on that sprocket, but I think maybe the nut and washer kind of peened over the end of the splines. Yeah, when I get super close, the ends of some of these teeth are just beat from that washer, like peened over, kind of digging at that. I don't know what else to do. All right, maybe the soft hammer is just too soft. It's going. There we go. There we go. All right. So, let me jig this out and try to show you what's up. Looks like clutch is coming right out. All right, that's just a bearing housing. Looks like 6205s from here. But what had happened is, for whatever reason, that washer had, and the nut, when they tightened it, had kind of peened over the ends of these teeth. So just had to drive it past them. Looks like my super delicate die-cast chain case held up. All right, that's half the problem. We still got a bottom gear to deal with. Okay, here's what we got going. I made this little piece, ran over to the lathe and whipped it out, and it just plugs into the end of the shaft there. And I'm going to get this puller set up. So you need that because I need that because honestly the center of the hole in there is so big the puller screw would go right into it. Well, looks like I'm pretty well set up right now. I'll find the socket for that. I'll be right back. All right, there we go. It's coming. Well, that is by far the biggest fight that I've ever had a chain case gear put up. But it's out. That all worked. We're in. All right, I'm going to get this chain case off and then work on the other side. And then the drive shaft should just come out. Worked like a champ. Oh, great. They won't take a box end. Have to use the open end. Maybe I should just try it. Maybe they're weld nuts. No. That is not a weld nut. It's spinning. All right. One of the four. All right. That was a battle. Much swearing was deleted. I ended up using this setup to get on the nuts on the back side. It worked pretty good. I don't know. Next, I've got to get this thing off. And oh, look at that. It's going to come off. Maybe. Maybe it's coming off. It almost looks like they made like a Like this is threaded on the end. Like they thought you'd use a slide hammer. Probably not doing that. Oh boy. Oh, I just had a thought. This thing might be aluminum. I better get a magnet and check before I get too crazy. All right, before I get too crazy, I want to make sure this isn't aluminum. It's aluminum. Great. Well, I don't want to pry on that too hard. Maybe I'll go back around to the other side and get the other bolts out of the chain case. All right, back over here. Still have that aluminum blue piece on that side. I got the 3 bolts on the chain case over here. Fun. Need to get a wrench on them. Let's see if that works better. Yeah, that was the perfect tool right there. All right. Well, shouldn't be anything holding the chain case on now. We'll need that again. Nothing going there. For all I know, it might have to come out this way, so I'm going to stop hitting. Well, let's try some gentle tapping. Nothing. All right, thought I'd give you guys a look in the tunnel. Okay, this is the non-chain case side. Look at this big aluminum housing right here. You see that? I'm not sure what the deal is, but it doesn't want to come off. And then the chain case side, let me run over there quick. Run around the sled. So the chain case from out here looks like maybe just one bearing. But you look up in here and there's a big housing in there too, just like the other side. So I don't know. I got myself a little mystery here. I'm not really sure how to do this next step and get that drive shaft out. But when I figure it out, I'll let you know. All right, so I went to vintagesnow.com and I downloaded the Sno Jet parts list for this sled. Yep, such a thing exists. And here you can see the big aluminum cup. They just call it a trunnion. Bearing and a seal on each side. There's no retaining rings. It's just all seized together. So this will be great. Okay, here's what's about to happen. This is a slide hammer adapter for a vice grip. Just replaces the normal vice grip nut. Unless the threads are screwed up. It's going to work. So, got a long adjustment to go there, but we're going to put the vice grip right on the end of that. I am sure that that is almost for certain threaded for a slide hammer. And it would have to be a slide hammer because there's no place to push with a puller. So, let's just thread this on. Yeah, it's going to be at a little bit of an angle. It's not perfect. Back you guys up a little bit here. Camera's kind of in the way. Get in there. All right. Oh, it is working. Well, it looked like it was working. It was certainly a lot looser than it was. All right, well, that's not working. Trying another tactic. Let's pump that thing full of grease and see if hydraulics will do anything. I think I'm just popping the seal out. I'm going to stop there. That seal's about to pop out. That's probably about all the help I'm going to get from that. Hi, Farley. Let's try this again with all the hydraulic pressure now. Nope. Okay, excuse my leaking air hose here, but I'm sure somebody's head's going to explode. But as I struggled with this, I got to thinking, what am I going to do? Well, so I put in my piece I made for that puller. I got out the old air hammer. That was the right answer. Here's the status. It's a good status. The track is out. The chain case is off, as you saw. However, the drive shaft is still in there. I still got to get this housing off. I'm not sure what my plan is on that yet, but we'll get it. So I've given this a little more thought, and I've decided what these threads were for was not for a slide hammer, but probably for a speedometer option this sled didn't have, but maybe some others did. And I really like the air hammer trick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off, and if necessary, drill a little hole in the end. I'll plug it up with the rubber plug later, you know, when the sled's in use. But knock that off of there so I can do the air hammer trick from this side and get the drive shaft out of this. I don't really see a better way. So here we are. Got a nice drill bit full of grease there, but I have a hole. I don't know what's in there other than grease, but let's give it a, oh yeah, just like the other end of the shaft, it's hollow all the way through. Got some ancient white grease in there. Got some brown grease in there. Got an off-center hole, but let's see, does this little plug go in? Seems like I got to go do just a little machine work, make that little pilot on that plug a little smaller, and then we'll knock that out. Okay, well, let's see how this goes. Got it in. Little air hammer. That is not moving. The vice grips was my anti-rotation for when I was drilling. Shaft is quite stuck to that bearing. All right, here's my next tactic. These drivers are roll pinned on. I'm sure you can see the roll pin right there. They got to come off anyways. No matter what, they need to come off. So I guess I'll work under here in this super awkward position and see if I get those things off, or if I can't. And if I can get them off, then I can take this whole drive shaft over to the press. You know, it'll just come out the hole up there. So I'll give that a try. Okay, here's where I'm at. Like that wire there. Let me move that wire. So my thinking is this. Not very warm yet. The bearing had to come in from the inside. There's no snap ring. It was just the bearing and the seal. So if I can get the housing warm enough, maybe the air hammer trick will work. I did knock the roll pins out of the drive wheels, but the drive wheels have aluminum hubs, and the aluminum hubs are pretty well seized onto the steel shaft. Boy, that smells great. All right. Seems pretty hot. Let's get that up into there. And we'll try to put that on there. And hopefully the air hammer works this time. Well, there we go. That is the... Let me get you over here. This is for sure the worst time I've ever had getting a drive shaft out of a sled. But it's out. I earned that. So my original plan was to knock this out in one episode, the whole track swap, start to end. Well, you can see how that went. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. So I think I'm going to cut off this episode right here. And when I bring you back, well, we'll get after the track swap again. We'll get some skidoo drivers on there. We'll start changing bearings and getting stuff back together. And at least it shouldn't fight me so bad when I'm putting it together, right? Right. So anyways, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you. Please hit subscribe if you haven't yet. And huge thanks to the patrons. Patrons, you're really the ones that keep the channel going. Really appreciate you. Everybody can see your names up there on the screen now. And the patrons give us a little donation each month that goes to the beer and the pizza fund. And in return, they get their names on the screen. They get to see all the videos early, and they can watch them ad-free on the Patreon app. And they get Patreon-only videos. So anyways, consider joining the Patreon. And if you can't do that, at least please hit subscribe. And we'll see you on the trails.